Dear students, welcome back in social science live class for standard 8. Okay, so good morning once again, all of you. Yes, good morning, Sabri, Shushti. Okay, and I think it is Hirak Tiwari. Okay, but if possible, can you change your name here? The name is coming Vandana Tiwari. I don't know that technical aspects, but if possible, please write your names. Okay. Good morning, Anushka. So, welcome back to all of you in today's social science live class. Okay, friends. So, as all of you knows that from last 10 to 12 live classes, we were discussing in our subject history. Okay, and currently we are discussing on chapter 6, weavers, iron smelters and factory owners. Okay, so yesterday we have started with a new topic as per the textbook. Okay, the topic given in the textbook is which name? Abandoned furnaces in villages. Okay, so furnaces is what? It is a type of kiln. It is a type of arrangement in which the process of iron smelting takes place. ठीक है, तो आयरन का जो स्मेल्टिंग है, आयरन स्मेल्टिंग एक प्रोसेस है जिसमें आयरन ओर से क्या किया जाता है, प्योर आयरन ऑब्टेन किया जाता है. सो दैट एंटायर प्रोसेस इज नोन एज आयरन smelting. Okay, now what chemical reactions took place? What type of industrial arrangement is required? Now this is a topic of science. Okay, so when you will come in standard 8, in 9th or 10th in science, you will be having a separate topic. Okay, on iron smelting. Okay, so that is not a concern for our subject history. Okay, so iron smelting is a process, okay, from which the pure iron is obtained by using iron ore. Okay, and the furnace is an instrument. Basically it is a big kiln, okay, in which this process takes place. So yesterday we have started with this particular topic. Okay, and yesterday what we have discussed that how the iron smelting industry in India, how the iron smelting industry in India produce different variety of iron and steel. Okay, what type of arrangements were used that time. Okay, so we discuss about that the iron smelting took place. Okay, and furnaces were most often built of clay and sun-dried bricks. Okay, the smelting was done mainly by the men, while the women were in charge for operating the bellow. Bellow is a type of instrument which is used for pumping the air onto the fuel. Okay, so all these things we have discussed in yesterday's live class. Okay, so I hope all of you remembers what we have discussed, what we have studied in yesterday's live class. Okay, at the end of yesterday's live class, I told you that because of number of factors, number of conditions started emerging in India, due to which this iron and steel industry started declining. Okay, so today that we are going to discuss. Okay, so today what we are going to discuss, reason for decline of iron smelting in India during 19th सेंचुरी। ओके, तो आज बेसिकली हम क्या डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, हम वो सारे फैक्टर्स, वो सारे कारणों के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे ड्यू टू विच ओके द आयरन स्मेल्टिंग इंडस्ट्री डिक्लाइन इन इंडिया। ओके, during which time, during 19th century. Okay, so one of the reason was the new forest law. Okay, the first reason for decline, okay, of iron smelting industry. Okay, the first reason for decline of iron smelting industry in India. Okay, the first reason for decline of iron smelting in India was the forest laws. Okay, was the forest laws introduced by British. Okay, now so the first reason, जो पहला कारण था, due to which the iron smelting industry started declining. Okay, so the first reason for the decline of iron smelting industry in India was the forest laws. Okay, now what were the forest laws? This was a portion of chapter 4, okay, in our history textbook. Okay, this section we have covered when we were having our studies with the help of WhatsApp. At that time, I have sent the video lessons, okay, which I have downloaded from YouTube for the purpose of study, because that time due to the lockdown process we were not able to conduct the live class. Okay, so the forest law is a topic that is a part of our chapter 4. Okay, I hope that all of you have seen the video lessons of this chapter. Well, since we again need to discuss on this one, I will just explain it. Okay, when the British came into India, okay, there were number of forest products which were used by the Britishers. Okay, especially the good quality timber or wood available from the forest. ठीक है, जब ब्रिटिश इंडिया में आए तो बहुत सारे ऐसे फॉरेस्ट प्रोडक्ट थे। अब फॉरेस्ट प्रोडक्ट मतलब जंगल से मिलने वाली वस्तुएं। ओके, so there were number of forest products which were being used by the Britishers. Okay, but the Indian population was also using the same products. Because of that, very soon Britishers found that if the Indian population would use the same forest product, that is the timber, okay, then a dry wood for the fuel. So what the Britishers felt the Britishers felt that if the Indian population would continue to use the forest product with the same speed, then it would be difficult for British. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so it would be difficult for the British to use the forest product. So what the British did, British have introduced forest law. ब्रिटिशर्स ने इंडिया में फॉरेस्ट रिसोर्सेज को अपने कंट्रोल में करने के लिए क्या बनाए, फॉरेस्ट लॉ बनाए. ठीक है, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट फॉरेस्ट लॉ, sorry, just setting of the board is okay. Just the board was shining actually, so I need to do the adjustment again. I think now it is visible properly. ठीक है. Okay, so because of these forest laws, ठीक है, what happens? There were lot of restrictions. There were lot of restrictions implemented for the Indian people to use these forest resources. Got it? अभी के लिए इतना ही. Then we'll discuss it separately in a large extent. So the first reason for decline of iron smelting industry in India was the forest laws introduced by British. Okay, now under this law, okay, under this law, Indians were not allowed. Under this law, Indians were not allowed to enter into. Under this law, Indians were not allowed to enter into forest areas. Okay. Under this law, Indians were not allowed to enter into forest area for collecting wood, for making charcoal. Okay. Now, when the forest laws were implemented, Indians were not allowed to enter into forest areas. So why the Indians were entering into forest areas? They were entering for collecting wood. Why they were collecting wood? For making charcoal. Okay. Beta, please stop writing the number of students, okay? We'll talk to them later on. So under this law, Indians were not allowed to enter into forest areas for collecting wood, for making charcoal. Okay, and also to dig up and also to dig up iron ore. Okay, so जो first problem that the iron smelting industry faced was due to the forest laws introduced by British. When the British introduced the forest laws, okay, what they did, they categorized the different forest, okay, into three categories. ब्रिटिशर्स ने इंडिया के टोटल अवेलेबल फॉरेस्ट एरिया को कितने कैटेगरी में डिवाइड किया? इट वाज डिवाइडेड इनटू थ्री कैटेगरीज. ओके, वन कैटेगरी इज नोन एज रिजर्व्ड फॉरेस्ट. ओके, सेकंड कैटेगरी इज नोन एज protected forest, and third category is known as village forest. Okay, so India में जो forest resources थे, they were categorized by the British into three categories. What are these three categories, beta? Reserved forest, protected forest, and village forest. Okay, now what actually happened? Especially in case of iron smelting industry. Okay, all the iron ore resources of good quality were available in which forest area? Reserved forest area. जो अच्छी क्वालिटी का आयरन ओर था वो कहां पर था? It was there in reserved forest area. What is friend? जो गुड क्वालिटी का आयरन ओर है वो कौन से फॉरेस्ट में था बेटा? रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट में. ठीक है, अब क्या हुआ? जब ब्रिटिशर्स ने फॉरेस्ट लॉ इंट्रोड्यूस किए, देन इंडियन वेर नॉट अलाउड टू एंटर इनटू फॉरेस्ट एरियाज. इंडियंस को कहां पर एंटर करने की परमिशन नहीं थी? Into the forest areas. Okay, because of that, Indians were not allowed collecting wood. Okay, Indians को जंगल में जाने की परमिशन नहीं थी. अब वो क्या नहीं कर सकते थे? wood collect नहीं कर सकते थे. Why they required wood? Especially in case of iron smelter. Okay, so iron smelters required wood for making charcoal. Okay, so if they were not allowed to collect the wood, they were not able to prepare the charcoal. ठीक है, so लकड़ी लाने की परमिशन नहीं थी, इसलिए क्या नहीं बन पा रहा था? चारकोल. ठीक है, and most of the iron ore resources were also available in the forest, due to which now they were facing the scarcity of forest. They were facing the scarcity of iron ore. ठीक है, अब उनको क्या आयरन ओर का प्रॉब्लम भी फेस करना शुरू हुआ. Got it? In some areas, okay, iron smelters. In some areas, iron smelters violated the forest laws. Okay, now When the iron smelters were not allowed to enter into the forest, they started facing the problem of getting charcoal as well as iron ore. So what the people did? In some areas, iron smelters violated the forest law and entered into forest and entered into forest. So in some areas, the iron smelters violated the forest law and entered into forest. But what happens? It resulted into severe punishment. It resulted into severe punishment whenever caught. Now, what happens? When the iron smelters started facing problem for collecting the charcoal or for getting the iron ore. So in some areas, the iron smelters violated the forest laws and they entered into forest. कुछ areas में है ना, सारे इलाकों में नहीं, but in some areas, what the iron smelters did, they violated the forest law and entered into the forest. जंगल में बिना परमिशन के घुस गए. But what happens? It resulted into severe punishment whenever caught. यदि वो पकड़े जाते थे, then what happens? They will have to face the severe punishment. Okay? Now, all of you understood up to here? Because now I need to rub the board. Okay? Now, in other parts of central India, British government, okay, in some part the British government gave permission, okay. In other parts of central India, British government gave permission to enter into forest. Okay, so in other parts of central India, British government gave permission to enter into forest. Got it? But people and iron smelters, okay, the permission was given to all the people, okay, but the people and iron smelters have to pay very high taxes, okay. The people have to pay very high taxes for collecting, okay, for collecting wood and iron है. So what happens? The people in iron smelters have to pay very high taxes for collecting wood and iron ore. ठीक है, जो सभी लोगों को कुछ एरिया में परमिशन दी, ओके, to enter into forest. But in lieu of the permission, वो permission के बदले में what happens? The people at iron smelters have to pay very high taxes for collecting wood and iron ore. ठीक है? So earlier what happens? The forest resources were free of cost for the people. But when the forest laws was implemented, in India, now all the forest resources became the property of the British government. जो सारे फॉरेस्ट रिसोर्सेज थे वो किसकी प्रॉपर्टी बन गए? इट बिकेम द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट. इन सम एरियाज, ओके, ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट gave permission to enter into forest. कुछ एरियाज में ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने फॉरेस्ट में एंटर करने का परमिशन दे दिया, ओके, बट people and iron smelters have to pay very high taxes for collecting wood and iron ore. ठीक है, जो लोग थे, the common people, those who required only the wood, and the iron smelter which required the wood as well as iron ore. Okay, so these people have to pay very high taxes for collecting wood and iron ore. Okay, high taxes directly, reduce the profit of iron smelters. Okay, the high taxes directly reduce the profit of iron smelters. वो जो बहुत high taxes थे, ठीक है, because of that what happens? The profit of the iron smelters reduce. Okay, because whatever the income these iron smelters earn from selling the iron, ठीक है, उसका बहुत सारा जो हिस्सा है वो किस में चला जाता था? टैक्स में. ओके, so earlier for example they were earning 50 रुपये in a month, है ना, मान लो 50 से 100 रुपए वो महीने में कमाते थे, ठीक है, so they did not have to incur any cost, उनको लागत कुछ नहीं लगती थी, ठीक है, charcoal was free of cost because they were able to collect the wood from forest, ठीक है, iron ore was freely available, जंगल में जाने का कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं था, but what happens? The income remains same and from that income now they have to pay very high taxes, ठीक है, so taxes ज्यादा पे करना पड़ा, तो इनकम जो पहले पूरी की पूरी बचती थी उसका बहुत सारा पोर्शन the people have to pay in the form of high taxes. So these high taxes directly reduce the profit of the iron smelters. Got it? Moreover, so many iron smelters had with this condition, okay, many iron smelters fed up with this condition and they gave up this occupation. Okay, so many iron smelters fed up with this condition. ये जो conditions थी, जो problems that the iron smelters were facing. Okay, so they fed up with these conditions. हमेशा परेशान होते थे, ठीक है? यदि फॉरेस्ट लॉ को तोड़ करके फॉरेस्ट में एंट्री करते थे, then they will be punished. Okay, in some areas where the permission was granted to enter into the forest, in those areas they have to pay very high taxes for collecting the wood and iron ore. Okay, so in case of paying the taxes, it reduces the income level of the iron smelters. Okay, so many iron smelters fed up with these conditions. Not all, but बहुत सारे लोग इस condition से बहुत परेशान हो गए. Okay, so what they did, they gave up this occupation. वे आयरन स्मेल्टर्स जो इस कंडीशन से बहुत ज्यादा परेशान थे, what they did, they gave up this occupation. उन लोगों ने आयरन स्मेल्टिंग का काम छोड़ दिया. Okay, so those people who fed up with these conditions, they gave up the occupation. उन लोगों ने आयरन स्मेल्टिंग का काम क्या कर दिया, छोड़ दिया. Okay, they left the iron smelting industry. Moreover, now this was the first problem that we have discussed. Okay, so one of the reason is what? The introduction of forest laws. Now, the second reason for decline in, okay, the second reason for decline in iron smelting in India, okay, the second reason for decline in iron smelting in India was the starting of importing iron and steel from Britain, okay, at the last years of 19th century. Okay, now what happens? The second reason, the first reason for decline of iron smelting industries what? Forest loss. ठीक है, तो पहला कारण जो आयरन स्मेल्टिंग इंडस्ट्री के डिक्लाइन के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, that was the forest law. What is the second reason? The second reason for declining iron smelting industry was the starting of importing iron and steel from Britain at the last years of 19th century. Okay, तो जो 19th century के आखिरी के साल हैं, during the late 19th century, okay, the British government in India has started importing iron and steel from Britain. Okay. Now what happens? Iron smiths. Now who are the iron smiths? Those people who are making different products, implements and utensils from steel or iron. Okay, so the iron smiths in India, began to use this imported iron and steel. Okay, so the iron smith in India began to use this imported iron and steel for making implements, and utensils. Okay, so what iron smith? Now iron smith means वे लोग जो मार्केट से आयरन स्टील खरीद करके क्या बनाते थे? डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते थे. Okay, so the iron smith in India now began to use this imported iron and steel for making implements and utensils. आयरन स्मिथ्स ने क्या बनाना शुरू किया? यूटेंसिल्स बनाना शुरू किए. ओके, सो दे हैव स्टार्टेड यूजिंग द imported iron and steel. Now the import of iron and steel from Britain. The import of iron and steel from Britain reduced the demand of the import of iron and steel from Britain reduced the demand of Indian iron and steel. ओके, ब्रिटेन से जो आयरन और स्टील इंपोर्टेड होता था, ठीक है, उसकी डिमांड ज्यादा होना शुरू हुई. एंड व्हेन द आयरन स्मिथ एंड अदर पीपल स्टार्टेड यूजिंग द इंपोर्टेड आयरन एंड स्टील for making implement and utensils, due to this what happens? It reduces the demand of Indian iron or steel. इसके कारण क्या हुआ? इंडिया में जो आयरन और स्टील प्रोड्यूस होता था उसकी डिमांड कम होना शुरू हुई. ठीक है, एंड बाय द अर्ली 20th century. ठीक है, ये दो रीजन. First reason is of the forest law and second reason is what? The import of iron and steel from Britain. These two reasons are responsible for the decline of iron and steel industry in India. The third reason, जो तीसरा reason है, that started in early 20th century. Early 20th century means around 1912. ठीक है, तो 20th century के स्टार्टिंग में एक तीसरा फैक्टर सामने आया which is responsible for the decline of iron and steel industry in India. Got it? That third reason we will discuss in tomorrow's लाइव सेशन. वो तीसरा कारण कौन सा था? जिसके कारण इंडिया में आयरन और स्टील इंडस्ट्री पूरी तरीके से बर्बाद हो गई. So that we'll discuss in tomorrow's live session. Okay. So goodbye to all of you for today. Thanks, friends. Goodbye once again.